The man needs no introduction. Kevin Costner's career is closing in on 50 years at this point, with many, and I mean many notable films, several accolades, and a whole lot of love and respect from everyone in Hollywood. It's funny to find him at the center of a controversy today. That's just it. Kevin's time as Hollywood's top dog might be up. After his controversial exit from the set of Yellowstone, fans are finally seeing the veteran actor for who he really is, a villain. Speaking of the Western, Kevin sure kicked a gift horse in the mouth. Silverado, No Way Out, Tin Cup, Bodyguard. Just tell me when to stop. It's pretty easy to name a Kevin Costner hit. There are a lot of them, so. Still, have you ever noticed how almost all of the actor's hits are from the late 90s? I get that it was when the now 68-year-old actor was in his prime, and it was a lot easier to bag a role back in the day. Yet everyone saw he still had a knack for acting as John Dutton in 2018's Yellowstone. So why did Hollywood stop casting Kevin Costner? The truth is, the guy was just bad luck. Let me preface this by saying this is all speculation, obviously. However, after failing over and over again with The Postman and Waterworld not really taking off, or the fact that he was mysteriously pulled out of Django Unchained last minute, Hollywood was convinced of the Costner curse. What's funny is that Kevin probably thought his time was up too. I mean, the guy gave up his makeup chair for the director's chair and announced that he'd exclusively be working behind the camera now. A graceful exit from all the glitz and glam. That's when something miraculous named Taylor Sheridan happened. Piggybacking off his success on Sons of Anarchy, Taylor had long wanted Costner as the lead for his Western. The guy pitched the idea to the veteran actor, and wouldn't you know it, the actor who'd once announced he was ready to hang up his acting hat just dusted it off and got straight back to work. It's a good thing he did, by the way. Yellowstone is a force in the entertainment industry. It's one of Paramount's best-selling series and Taylor's crowning achievement. In some ways, I'd actually say it's Costner's too. It revitalized the actor's dying career, and he was back to being the face on billboards, advertisements, and sponsorships. Everyone loved Kevin Costner once again, until he decided to just get up and leave. That's right, after reviving his career, the actor decided he'd had enough of it and walked away without a warning, obviously leaving the production and fans high and dry. While everyone else scrambled to put up a show in the main character's absence, you won't believe what Kevin got up to. The actor decided to copy Yellowstone scene for scene. Officially, Costner's representatives told the press that he walked away because of scheduling conflicts. Behind the scenes, though, fans found out the real reason for the actor's departure. Apparently, he didn't like the way Taylor ran things. Taylor, on the other hand, didn't like how Kevin tried to hijack his show. A good old case of creative differences. Only theirs was a lot more personal. Kevin's wife didn't like all the time he'd been spending on set away from her and the kids. She gave the actor an ultimatum, her or the show. And the actor chose her. Ironically, their problems ran a lot deeper than that, and she still ended up leaving the family home. That's for another video. Let's get back to Kevin Costner copying Yellowstone. So, John Dutton's departure was inevitable after Kevin decided the show just wasn't worth it anymore. Did it hurt fans? Yep, but what can you do? It happens all the time. Sure, but does copying a show and pasting a new name over it happen all the time too? Immediately after leaving Yellowstone, Costner announced he'd started work on a 4-part film franchise, Horizon, an American saga. With the ongoing writer's strike and Costner still working out the specifics of the project, we only have a name and some details of the plot for now. It's about, wait for it, the Wild West. This got fans thinking, is the actor nothing but a sleaze? I'll leave that up for you guys to decide. I'm just here to give you guys the facts, and the fact is that Horizon is eerily similar to Yellowstone. This got fans thinking, has Kevin always been this way? Apparently, yes, he has. Kevin's acting career has always been linked with Kevin Reynolds' directing work. The man's the force behind some of the biggest films Hollywood's ever seen, including the highest budgeting film ever to date, Waterworld. Apparently, despite Reynolds helping Costner get his name out there, the two had never really seen eye to eye. Still, Costner was a great actor and Reynolds was a great director, and they needed each other to thrive. It all came to a head while filming Waterworld, though, when an explosive argument resulted in production being halted for weeks. That's when Reynolds told the press that Costner should only work in his own productions since he'd be working with his favorite actor and his favorite director, himself. So the actor's quite literally burnt bridges with two talented directors at this point. Luckily, he hasn't yet annoyed a third, but he has been feuding with a mega production house. Does anyone here remember For Love of the Game? Of course you don't. The movie was a flop. Kevin Costner starred as Bill Chappell, an MLB player who knows his time is almost up in the league and starts reminiscing about all the good things he had. For Love of the Game was the sort of feel-good movie you'd expect to do decently well at the box office. I'm not talking about major hit here, but just enough to break even at least. Well, despite having Costner in the lead and Sam Raimi backing it up, the movie was about $4 million short of budgeting expenses. Honestly, the only reason why the film even made any money was because everyone wanted to see what the fuss was all about. So, here's the tea. Costner decided to waive off his famous $20 million salary for the film in exchange for a cut from the overall box office millions. Universal Studios was thrilled to have him on board, and they actually thought this was Kevin trying to be helpful. Well, they soon realized that in waiving his fee, he now thought he owned the film. So the film was supposed to be marked as a PG-13 film with a runtime of 130 minutes. This meant that some scenes would have to be cut, and Kevin didn't like that. Ahead of the film's release, while it was still in production, actually, the actor gave an explosive interview to Newsweek where he claimed that Universal was ruining the film. Stacy Snyder, the CEO of Universal, didn't enjoy Costner's smear campaign and announced that they'd be willing to cut Kevin a $20 million check right then and there if it meant he stuck his nose out of how they ran things. She also reminded him that he's the lead actor, not the director. Sam Raimi, for his part, actually sided with Costner and said that he acknowledged his feelings. Still, he also admitted that this was just how things had to go for the movie to stay PG-13. In the years since, Costner was called back for only one Universal-backed production, Dragonfly. Yeah, I think they don't want anything to do with the guy. In conclusion, Kevin Costner's a major diva. The guy who once won hearts as the uber-cool lead on The Bodyguard has finally shown his true colors. Still, people who've been following Costner's career from day one would agree that he showed his true colors long ago. Now, it's just that with social media taking over, we just get to talk about his many missteps a lot more. Costner had been the subject of tabloid headlines even during his heyday. Directors, producers, and co-stars would often complain about his attitude. They'd call him snobbish and standoffish. Still, it was all forgotten about once the Kevin-backed project became a hit. All's well that ends well, right? Not for long. Fans believe there's no way Kevin's getting out of this one. The actor's peaked, and maybe Yellowstone allowed him to peak again. The chances of him scoring again with Horizon are pretty non-existent, I'll admit. He'll still try though, and critics claim he'll fail. Just like when he failed with The Postman. Back then, Kevin refused to listen to what anyone else had to say and produced a 3-hour-long movie. Despite its great plot, the movie was just a drag and people ended up walking out before the ending. Will that happen with Horizon 2? I don't know, but I guess we'll find out. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe for more content just like this.